It's a Thursday, a day like any other. Welcome to American Esoterica. If history class gives you the late November, this is the forgetting what the sun looks like during the weekday. The essential stuff in between. The personalities, events, and other ephemera that shape our history and culture. I'm Brian Powers. It's a day like any other, but in Los Angeles, the renowned author lay dying. His most well-known work now lay more than 30 years in the past, but his later years are consumed by experimentation in the new worlds of psychedelia. He began taking mescaline 10 years earlier, and LSD a few years after that. He had even written a book on the subject. His final novel, published the year before this particular day, is the utopian counterpart to his dystopian masterpiece. Throughout his life, he's impossible to ignore. At 6'4" and with a perfect English diction, he lived the life of a superb British intellectual. And indeed, he comes from a supremely intellectual lineage. His grandfather was a close friend of Charles Darwin, his father, the editor of a well-regarded magazine, and his mother, the niece of a well-known poet. In an early career that proves far too coincidental, he teaches French at a famous prep school to a pupil named Eric Blair. Years after the author publishes his dystopian masterpiece, Blair would publish his. Only he would take the pen name George Orwell. But all of this is now drawing to a close. For weeks now, it has been clear that he has been on the decline, although he refuses to admit it. He refers to his bout with cancer as just this period. And it's clear, to his wife Laura at least, that he really believes it's something he'll get past, like a bad cold. Today seems different though. He's in more pain, he can barely speak, and he finally calls for a writing tablet to set out some final wishes. One of the last ones is for an injection of LSD. Laura dutifully responds and heads into the next room where his doctor is to fetch the very alternative medicine. The TV is on with a breaking report of national importance, but Laura finds a syringe, politely declines the doctor's offer to make the injection himself, and injects her husband with 100 milligrams of LSD. A few hours later, at his request, she injects him again, and at around 5:20 p.m. that afternoon, the author passes away peacefully in the middle of an acid trip. It's a day like any other, and Jack Lewis also lay dying. Also a British novelist, his death would be far less dramatic, from kidney disease. As he had lamented the year earlier, "They can't operate on my prostate until they've got my heart and kidneys right, and it begins to look as if they can't get my heart and kidneys right till they operate on my prostate. So we're in what an examinee, by a happy slip of the pen, called a viscous circle." Unlike the other author, Jack knows his end is coming, and he faces it calmly and openly. He entertains old friends, resigns from his teaching post at Cambridge, completes his correspondence to close out every relationship he can, and revisits his favorite books. He passes away at around 5:30 p.m. this afternoon. He first tries to get out of bed and collapses to the floor unconscious, drawing his last breath a few minutes later, as the world bids goodbye to Jack Lewis. It's a day like any other, but the cast and crew wraps filming the pilot today, and it has been an extraordinary adventure. The new show would be set on a deserted island, and for the pilot episode, they've been shooting on Kauai in Moloa Bay. There's just one scene left to shoot after today, but they'll do that one with extras instead of the leads. All they know is that the cast of 7 has gelled, and the tropical atmosphere have worked magic to create something special. They don't know this will be the only time this particular cast works together. They don't know that they will never again film on the island, or that the pilot they'd worked so hard on will be scrapped and not aired. As they wind down filming, a local runs up the beach to deliver the news. It's a day like any other, and the visionary is in a plane flying over Central Florida. Below him, there is nothing but a flat expanse of swampland with a new stretch of asphalt, a new interstate highway. What he sees instead is nothing but potential. He's looked at many sites up and down the East Coast, but this site in particular has everything he needs. A highway to bring in visitors by the boatload and wide open space stretching on for miles. It's what he didn't have the first time around, and he's determined to get it right this time. He's taking extra precautions too. It's a rented plane, even though he has his own plane and will be getting his most well-known one in a few weeks. If it becomes clear who's out scouting for sites, greedy land speculators will drive the price up, and he needs that land. He wants a huge expanse of it so that he can control what happens in it, to make sure that the cheap, sleazy hangers-on that surrounded his last endeavor don't get a foothold here. On this day, he sees enough and makes his decision. Project X, as it's called, will be his ultimate triumph. He's going to build a world in his vision and name, and it won't be such a small world after all. It's a day like any other, except it isn't. Laura Huxley hears the news when she leaves the bedroom where her husband, author Aldous Huxley, lay dying to retrieve the LSD to give him his final acid trip, leading him to his own brave new world. Jack Lewis is overshadowed in his death not just by the death of Huxley, but by the news that would reach the world just over an hour after he collapses. And the author, better known by his given name of Clive Staples or C.S. Lewis, can weave no more tales of Narnia. The cast of the unaired original pilot of Gilligan's Island, with many recast when the executives have their way and move the shoot to far cheaper backlots and sound stages, could only disbelieve that the news could be real, coming from such a distance. It is, however, and it leaves its own small cultural mark on the production. In the Season 1 intro, the results of that final shoot show the SS Minnow sailing out of the harbor, past a flag at half-mast. And after being elated at finally choosing the spot for what will become Walt Disney World, Walt Disney begins his journey back west, only to hear the news as the plane stops in New Orleans to refuel. Because the day is a day unlike any other. November 22nd, 1963. This has been American Esoterica. All sounds were made by me, Brian Powers. Did I get it wrong? Did I get it right? Just want to talk about just wanting to talk? Drop me a note. The address is yell@americanesoterica.com. More information on this show can be found at americanesoterica.com. Thank you for listening, and God bless America.